So, trying something brand new. Never done this before. I've played games for 20 years. I have never broadcasted. So, we're going to see how this goes. It might be fun. It might not be. There might be absolutely nobody watching this, but we will see how it goes. I'm going to do a full walkthrough of PS4. We're just going to play the whole game on PS4 Kingdom Come. But I want to tell you guys that I've played this through already. So there might be a few minor spoilers. I'm going to try not to spoil anything too big or anything like that. But this will be my second playthrough. So it's also sort of going to be a playthrough with tips, hints, tricks, little things that I personally use. If you guys have any more suggestions, you can let me know. But, all right, here we go. Oh, so the opening cinematic, which you've missed, basically tells the story, which you don't need to know much of. The basic story is Charles IV was a great king, but he died. So his son, Wenceslas IV, something like that, or the third, or one of those numbers, took over, but he's not a very good king. He likes to drink and whore and sort of just lays around and not do anything. So the nobles started getting upset about that, and so did the people. So the nobles turned to his half-brother, King Sigismund of Hungary. They asked King Sigismund to sort of step in here and do something about this because the kingdom's just being run by this kid who doesn't know what he's doing. So Sigismund got a little aggressive and ended up kidnapping Wenceslas and started pillaging towns and castles that are loyal to Wenceslas to cause chaos and to sort of control power and establish power for himself. So that's the opening cinematic. If you want to watch it, you can go to, I'm sure they've got it on some YouTube videos, but here we go. Oh, I'll do Playline 2. Yep. Since it's my first series, I don't have my face up yet or a webcam or anything like that. I'm sort of going to see how this goes. If people like this, great. Then I'll continue doing this and growing it up. If not, then I will continue talking to myself. So basically what I just told you guys. It's a beautiful game. That's one thing that instantly you'll realize. It's incredible. The amount of foliage, the realism to how everything works and moves, the lighting effects. It's fantastic. The music, in my opinion, is award-winning. This fella's name is Sir Radzig. He is the Lord of Skalitz, where we're starting out. That castle right there.
God bless. Same to you. Today's a scorcher. Well, husband, how goes it?
Good. I should get it finished today. Where on earth is Henry? I need him to run some errands.
He was still sleeping when I went out.
At this hour? Blue-blooded idler.
Well, it looks like he was out all evening, drinking like a lord.
Go and get the lazy bones up then. Quick clout round the ear should do it.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother and father, obviously.
Henry! Get up now. There's work to be done.
Get up or I'll come get you up, you slugabed.
Hear that? You'd better not vex him. Now get up quick. Your breakfast is on the table. Wait, what's this? Have you been... Oh, Henry. How many times have I told you about fighting?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just a scratch.
You've been at that sword play again, haven't you? You'd better pray your father doesn't get to hear of it. You know how he feels about it.
Oh, don't worry, it wasn't that. I just scratched myself is all.
Well, just don't come crying to me if you really do get hurt. Now get up, you rogue.
The beginning hours, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard, is very story-oriented. Some people will like that, some people will not. I love it. Your first quest.
A fine state you're in this morning. What on earth did you get up to last night?
So, as it's telling you here, these are the 4 main attributes for you. Speech, agility, vitality, strength. So, your response here, they're basically giving you a free point at the beginning in one of these 4 traits. In my first playthrough, I really wanted strength. I usually don't go that way. I usually go with speech, but I want it to be really strong. I think this time I'm going to do speech, but I will tell you that this does not matter much. You can level all of these whenever you want, basically. If you want to level speech, then talk to people more. If you want to level vitality, then run and just keep running and jogging around places, and you'll level your vitality. So you can level these things up at any point in the game. This is sort of just giving you a head start in one or two of them.
Nothing much. Me and the lads were just having a chat in the tavern. Some wayfarer stopped by. He was telling us what's going on in the world, and well, I lost track of time.
Well, I hope he didn't fill your head with nonsense. Well, I've got a feeling there's something you're not telling me. And it's connected with that scratch on your hand. And that suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town recently.
So you saw we got a main level, and we got a level in speech. So now they're giving us another one. And I'm going to do speech again, I think. I just want to see what it's like to have high speech skills since I went high strength last time. But we'll be leveling all of these, so why would I be interested in sword fighting?
You think he's teaching me sword fighting, don't you? What use would that be to me? Here. I'm not lying to you, Ma.
All right, then, if you say so. I don't mean to pry, but you know your father takes a dim view of such things.
Okay, so this game is a lot like a lot of RPGs, Elder Scrolls, stuff like that. You get a lot of dialogue choices. You don't have to do any of these. You can just end the dialogue right here, and you don't have to ask anything. I suggest doing as much as you can tolerate. There's a lot of talking in these games, so I understand that people get impatient. But you learn vital information to some quests by getting more info. You also level your speech skill just by talking to people, like I said. So even if you want to click on this stuff, and then on PlayStation 4 you can click circle to skip the dialogue. Even if you just click this stuff and skip all the dialogue, at least do that so that you level your speech skill. But listen to as much of it or read as much of it as you can.
Did Matthew and Fritz come looking for me?
No, I haven't seen them this morning. They shouldn't be hard to find. They'll be hanging around a tavern somewhere, as usual.
Okay, so see right there, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't know that I have two friends, Fritz and Matthew. And I wouldn't know where to find them either. Those are two sort of little pieces of information, but they're pieces of information that could come in handy later. Oh, leave it be, Mother.
Mother.
You're nearly a grown man, Hal. Father will pass the forge on to you one day
He
soon.
looks like a little boy.
You've been courting that Bianca for months now. Why do you have to keep wasting your time with those two layabouts? They're nothing but trouble.
Okay. Is Pa angry at me?
Is Father angry with me for sleeping late?
He's not happy. Yesterday you promised him you'd help finish that sword for Sir Radzig. He's not as young as he was. And you know how his joints pain him. He's too proud to complain, but he needs your help, Henry.
I know. Don't worry, Ma. Of course I'll help him.
Good. He always
Right.
has his knees ache when there's a storm coming. I hope they're wrong this time. It's looking like such a nice day.
Okay, do you need help?
Do you need me to do anything, Ma?
Ah, you're a good lad. But I'm fine. It's your father needs helping with that sword.
All right. So I'm hungry. This is an
Can I get
important
something
thing.
to eat?
I left some breakfast on the table. Help yourself.
Okay, so again, because this is not just a playthrough, but also tips and hints and tricks and stuff, we're going to be going a little bit slower into certain things. You can look around at how you move and stuff like that. It's pretty easy to do, though. We're not going to get into all that. What I will tell you, though, is so eating is a thing in this game. It's not a big deal, but you want to make sure that you aren't hungry. You'll see at the bottom of the screen I have a health bar. And to the right of that health bar, there's this little symbol that looks like a dish with a knife and a fork next to it. That symbol, if that's there, means that you're hungry. So I'm going to click down on the D-pad, which takes me to my inventory. Don't need to worry about any of this stuff right now. We'll get into all that later. All you really want to worry about is the bottom right where it's labeled health, energy, and nourishment. So I care about nourishment, which is at 40. We want it to be ideally at 100. That means you are perfect. You can eat more than that and get like 105, 110, 120 if you want to. But that means you've overeaten. And when you overeat, your stamina bar will be less and your movements will be slower. So that's what you want to know about eating. So I'm going to pick up some cheese. Picking it up is not eating it, so don't mistake that. I'm going to grab all the apples on the table. Even if I don't eat this stuff, I can sell it. So that's important too. This is another thing
I'll
to
have to
know.
get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah, see, if you don't feed him, he's going to keep bugging you and saying he's hungry until you do. And he'll eventually die of starvation, obviously. A lot of places have a pot of food like this. This is free, and it's not stealing either. So eating from these pots is so much more advisable than going and buying food wherever you can find it. It's a much easier method, but just be careful because it fills you up a lot. A lot. I was at 40, now I'm at 65. So it's filling you up 25 food every time you eat that, so make sure you don't overeat by eating pots of food. So I'm going to take the rest of this stuff. Even if I don't eat it, again, I can sell it. I'll take the lentil soup. I'll take the bread roll. I'll take the apple. And I'll take the red roll. All right. We've gotten everything here. we're going to eat a few of these things. So again, I press down on the D-pad to go to my inventory. Once I'm in my inventory, I'm going to R1 and L1 controls these little tabs here. I'm going to go over to food, and I've got a whole bunch of different food here, all the stuff we picked up. Now, food isn't all alike. You want to know what everything does. So you click triangle for item info, and it brings up this little screen. Again, it's a lot of stuff at first, but you get pretty used to it. I don't care about all of the an apple a day keeps the apothecary away stuff. I care about the nourishment, health, energy thing. So food does different things. This gives me 2 nourishment and 2 health and 0 energy. So it doesn't do a whole lot. It'll give me a little bit of health, but my health's already at 100, so that doesn't really matter. It's only really going to give me 2 nourishment. So just like in real life, apples are sort of snacks. They're not really anything that's going to fill you up. Bread is 7 nourishment. So now we're getting somewhere. That gets you a lot more. But the energy is only 1 and health is 0. So you're not going to use this to gain health, and you're not going to use it to get energy. But you'll get a good amount of nourishment from it. I'm going to go ahead and eat that, and I've got 2 of them. So I'll go ahead and eat another one. Cheese. Now this is interesting, see? Because nourishment is going to give you 10. It's going to give you a lot of nourishment, but cheese is heavy, just like in real life. This game is ultra realistic. That's what's kind of cool about it. So if you eat cheese, you're going to get 10 nourishment, but minus 3 health. Or energy. I'm sorry, not health, energy. So you're going to get more tired by eating cheese. But I have 100 energy, so I don't really care. I really just want to get the nourishment up. Lentil soup is great. It gives me 8 nourishment. That's pretty good. And it gives me 2 energy. Perfect. I'll be right back at 100. So now you can see I don't really want to overeat. Maybe I'll eat some of these apples. I have 6 apples. So I'll eat 2 apples. Boom. I'm now at 100 health, energy, nourishment. That's what I wanted to be at. Again, I know that's a long explanation, but we are getting into sort of some details on how this stuff works. Okay. Before I leave, I'm going to open this. Nails for Teresa is for a quest later, so I'm not going to take that. Bandages are for bleeding. So if you fall down and scrape your knee and it's bleeding, just like in real life, you got to put a Band-Aid on it and stop the bleeding. If you don't, bleeding can eventually cause death. And marigold decoctions are health potions. That's pretty much all they are. You don't get any health potions that like heal you instantly. You get health potions that will heal you over time, gradually. So in here, this is another little tip that I'll tell you guys about. You can look inside this stuff like open. But if you look at the bottom left, it does not say take cabbage and carrot. It says steal. So don't do that. You're actually stealing if you do that, if you take that food. And then you'll have stolen property on your person, which we'll get into, but that can be bad. So a lot of this stuff, again, carrot, I can't. It's going to steal it. But a little tip, if it's out like this, it doesn't say steal. Even in other strangers' homes, if you find like cheese and bread out like this, it'll never say steal, it'll say pick up. So it's just extra stuff that you can take to either sell or eat. I don't have a lockpick, so I'm not going to be able to do that. All right, let's head outside. Again, this is a beautiful game. Your mom.
What is it, my boy?
Okay. To run, you click and hold circle, and it does deplete your stamina. Your father's forge.
What's the matter with you, Henry? Didn't you hear me calling you?
Okay, so this gets into speech and how it works, but since I'm going to be talking to you guys about this anyway, We don't need to get too much into this. I'll just sort of explain it. So you'll see this all has to do with speech. At the bottom left, you have 3 icons. Pretty much normal, just your normal speech level. This is more like nobility speech. It's basically if you're dressed better, this will improve. Certain characters like this sort of speech because it's manipulative or it influences them more. Some people don't like it because they feel it's condescending. So you'll sort of have to feel out each situation and conversation, and you'll also have to look at your own numbers. You'll see that we have 7 in this. If you look at the bottom left under this icon, it shows 7. We only have a 3 in regular speech. So if we're going to choose between these two, we're probably going to go with this one. And then this is more the aggressive. This doesn't mean you're going to attack somebody, but this means you're going to take the aggressive, dominant, in-your-face approach. And I am really bad at that. I've got a level 2 in that, if you see on the bottom left. The other thing to keep in mind is how much someone likes you. At the bottom left again, you'll see the number 100 with a little smiley face. That's my father's reputation level with me, so he really likes me. So if I choose the right one, it probably will be okay. It probably will succeed, and then I'll get leveled up in speech a little bit. You get a little bit of XP in speech when you successfully do something. So I'll do this
one.
one.
Father. I was taking a stroll and lost track of time. Somehow I had a feeling I was seeing everything for the first time.
How, my boy? When are you going to get some sense? Anyway, we've a lot of work to do today. I'm finishing the sword for Sir Radzig, and I need
So you
your
saw
help.
it said successful.
With what?
I'm running out of charcoal. Run to the market and buy a bag from the charcoal burner.
I'll need some money then.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Kunesh still owes me for an axe, a hammer, and the nails I sold him a month ago. Not to mention his debt from before. Go and tell him to pay up, at least for the axe and hammer, and then use the money to buy the charcoal.
Kunesh? That drunkard? That'll be fun.
Well, you're a big lad now. I'm sure you can manage. If not, tell him that next time I'll come myself and personally use that hammer to bang those nails into his arse.
Sure I'll be happy to hear it. Is that all?
Not quite. The Chamberlain at the castle has the crossguard for Sir Radzig's sword, which I had engraved in Sasau.
You want me to go and pick it up? All right. Money, charcoal, crossguard. Got it.
And ale. Stop off at the tavern on your way home. I know you'll be going there anyway to see that girl of yours. But make sure the ale's still cool from the cellar when you get back.
Her name is Bianca.
Right, so make sure Bianca draws me a nice cool one. Run along now, work won't wait.
Okay, our first quest. Well, sort of, our first official quest. So, we have a lot to do there. That can get overwhelming unless you memorized all of that. So, the best way to do this is to click up on the D-pad to go to our map. So the map is awesome. As you can see, with the top buttons, you can zoom all the way out. It's a pretty big map. I'm not going to lie. It's not a gigantic map, guys. This isn't Elder Scrolls-sized map. But, again, this is a hyper-realistic game. So it's not about continually discovering locations and going on mountaintops and fighting dragons. It's about the towns and the politics and going between them and figuring out sort of what's going on and a lot of that kind of stuff. So the map is pretty big, and the map's excellent. You can zoom in to this far in so that I can see almost every building in the town and exactly what I need to do. So you can scroll over something, pick up the crossguard at the castle. Okay. Collect the debt from Kunesh. Buy a bag of charcoal from the market. So all of my objectives are right here, and I can, even if I want to, click square to put like a custom marker wherever I want. So that's kind of cool too. There's a few things that we noted though from that quest. One is that he wants ale, but he wants it cold. So This game does take time into consideration on a lot of different quests. Not every quest, but a lot of different quests. So in this situation, we want to make sure we get the ale last, because that means it's going to still be cool when we run back up here with all the stuff. We also know that we need to collect the debt from Kunesh because we have to buy charcoal, and we have no money. You can see how much money you have at the bottom left of your inventory screen. So again, down on the D-pad, and then right above eat, you'll see the coin symbol and 0, the number 0. So I have no money. So probably the first order of business is either Kunesh, or since we're right here, I'm going to go just grab the guard and CrossFit from the castle.
God be with you.
And with you, Henry.
How are you?
Father sent me. We're forging a sword for Sir Radzig, and the Chamberlain has the crossguard and grip. Father had them engraved in Sasau.
Right. They're here. The Chamberlain gave them to us for you. We looked them over. Beautiful work. I've never seen anything so fine.
And again, if dialogue isn't your thing...
When did I ever botch anything?
See, you can click through stuff
Where
with
shall we
circle.
start?
I'm not going to do that much in this
Shut up and
playthrough.
give me what I want, or I'll kick your ass this evening.
Right away, your lordship.
Magnificent. Shame I can't keep the sword for myself. Well, I better go if we're to get the job done by this evening.
Godspeed. See you later in the tavern.
You certainly will. After today's work, the ale might even be on me.
Okay. So even though I've done this before, this game, and this is my second playthrough, a lot of these things are going to be new to me because I'm going to be trying them in different ways. One of the really cool things about this game is there's so many different ways and freedom to do the quests the way you want to do them. People who pass by, their text is above their head. I think that's a really nice feature. Again, if you've played Elder Scrolls, you'll see a lot of sort of Elder Scrolls, especially Oblivion type similarities. But it just improvements, vast improvements in my opinion.
God be with you, Kunesh.
What do you want?
Alright, so we gotta collect the money from this guy.
My father sent me to get the coin you owe him for the axe, hammer, and nails.
I've got nothing. Clear off.
Okay, so this leaves us with two options. Pay the lot or else pay for the tools at least.
You know you owe father for a lot more than just the axe and hammer. If he went to the bailiff about it, you'd be in deep water. At least pay for the tools if you can't pay for everything.
I told you I have no coin, you bastard. Get the hell out of here, or I'll use the axe on you.
Huh. Just so you guys know, the bailiff is like the sheriff. There's one in every town, and you'll get used to them. So, okay. So here we are in another situation where we can go tell on him. We can tattle to Daddy, and just go say he won't pay us. Or we can look at the bottom left and see what our options are for an aggressive option or a speech option. My speech is at 3. That's not very good. My aggression's at 2. That's not very good. Kunesh doesn't like me very much. He's at a 65. He doesn't hate me, but he doesn't love me either. Kunesh, the reason Kunesh has question marks under him is because there will be a skill eventually, and there's certain situations where you will be able to see what their level is. And so if his level was like a 2 at regular speech and mine's a 3, then this might actually work. But I don't know what his speech level is or his stats are. So I think I'm just going to try this. I'm not going to tattle to Daddy. One of my friends did that, and you can do that and it's fine, but I wasn't thrilled with the outcome of that one.
Look,
it just didn't tickle me the right way.
I know things aren't easy. Your wife ran off, booze is dear these days, and you're as much use as a square wheel. It's no wonder you're short of coin. But a debt's a debt, and I can't leave here without something.
If I had anything to give, I'd give it. But I've got nothing. So leave me in peace, all of you.
Okay, wow. So, because I did 2 points in speech at the beginning of the game, that actually kind of worked. I've done that option before in my first playthrough. Actually, it was my wife's playthrough that we did that option, but she didn't have 2 points in speech, so he got upset with her, and he ended up attacking her. If he attacks you, it's very hard to beat him. You can beat him, it's possible, but it's very hard. He usually kicks your ass. So, okay, so that's interesting. Whoops. Try to get the axe, hammer, and nails back another way. Optional. So, So there's a few options here. You can try and steal it, which is a viable option. To go into stealth mode, you click down on the left thumb pad, and you'll see his arm goes out like that. So that means you're in stealth. Stealth is kind of tricky in this game, though. It is very realistic, and you got to practice at it. Okay, so I'm in his house, and you'll see now that, yeah, that notification on the right. At the top of the screen next to my compass is that blue walking symbol. So that means I'm somewhere where they don't really want me to be. If somebody finds me here, they are going to politely ask me what I'm doing here, and they're going to ask me to leave. They'll warn you a bunch of times, but if you don't leave that area, they'll go and run and get a guard, and then you're in real trouble. So just be aware of that. That symbol up at the top, that blue walking symbol, means you're somewhere where you're really not supposed to be.
A locked chest. I'll need a lockpick to get into that. Fritz might have one.
Okay, so there's a locked chest here we obviously need to get into. We don't have one. Our friend Fritz does. Remember I told you at the beginning of the game, it's great to listen to as much dialogue as you can, because I know that Fritz is one of my friends, and I know where he hangs out. So that gives me an advantage instead of just running all over town like a chicken with my head cut off. There's another way to there are several other ways to handle this. I might break in and do that, but I might handle this a different way. There's also the totally passive way that my friend took, which is to go around stealing stuff or sell apples and food and all this other stuff you get until you can afford the charcoal without going and getting the hammer, axe, and nails at all. That is an option. So this is a great example of a quest that you can do so many different ways. Here's the charcoal burner, but I don't have the money yet, so can't do that.
Hey, Pip, do you want to learn something?
No, I don't think so. Thanks.
Suit yourself.
This guy's sort of a
Well, to the
shady
hero.
character in town.
So you haven't changed your mind about learning the craft of warfare?
But he can teach you to sword fight, and you've been sort of going behind your parents' back and getting lessons from him. So we're going to take another lesson today.
Have you recovered from yesterday's great wound?
It was nothing. Except Mother noticed and had a word or two to say about it.
No mother's happy when a son starts to take an interest in swords. Where there's weapons, there's death. The question is, what do you want?
I don't want to rot in this hole forever. I feel like I don't belong here. I want to live and see the world. But the world's a dangerous place, and I need to know how to protect myself.
Spoken like a man. And as it happens, today's your last chance. I have to leave. So, are you ready to get stuck in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
All right, I'll wait on the ground by the sheepfold as usual.
Okay, so another example of like time in this game, just going with or without you. I sort of love that about this game, that this world exists whether you're in it or not. This guy is going to go to the sheepfold whether I follow him or not. He's just going to go. And if nightfall hits and I'm not there, then he would leave. So there are quests and instances where if you don't show up when you say you're going to show up, if they say be there at dawn and you're not there, then you will miss the quest. They'll go without you. So just be aware of that, that you want to, if time-sensitive quests you want to be aware of. I'm not going to play this right now, but this is the game called Farkle. It's a dice game. Apparently it's a real dice game. I didn't even know that. But it's a really fun game to play if you want to gamble, which we'll do some through this playthrough. Not a whole lot, but some. So this is the rest of Skalitz, just to let you guys know and look around real quick. It's a nice little hometown. There are traders here. Everybody, you can see what they trade on their table. Armors, kits, so you can keep your gear in order and maintain your gear by yourself. Thistle chamomile, so this is an herbalist. But again, we have no money, so not a big deal. We're going to go to our sword fighting lesson. I know we could have followed that guy up there, but I just wanted him to walk up there real quick. We'll take a run up. I mean, look at how pretty it is. It's just such a cool, the most realistic medieval world I think I've stepped foot in gaming, and I've been in a bunch of them. Look at all these sheep. I mean, it's just so cool. All right. Sorry, got distracted. Combat Master Vanyek.
So, can we get started?
We can.
Good. And since today's the last time we'll be seeing each other, you can show me everything I've taught you so far.
Oh, goody. So, okay.
Very well. Let's start with the basics. Keep moving. Your life depends on it.
I'd also recommend clicking on the right thumb pad to lock on. See that circle now? In the middle? Locking on is huge.
All right. Now try to hit me. You have to put your weight into your attack. If you just fiddle around, you'll get nowhere. Try slashing from different sides. Unpredictability is the key. Never repeat yourself.
So, so moving is important. See, he's going to keep trying to get up on me. And you want to make sure that you keep space between you and your opponent. I'll tell you why later. I'll show you a bunch of examples why, but keeping space is a big deal. The other thing to know is that, see, I can attack from different directions. So while I'm moving with the right thumbstick, I can choose which direction I'm going to end up attacking from. You can do 5 different directions. His head, his left, his right, or his left, his right, lower left, lower right. Right now, I can only do slash, which are strong attacks. So that's the right trigger button. So I'm going to do that. And see, I'm going to switch directions every time I do it. Just to get some practice at that.
The point of the blade is for stabbing. Try it a few times.
So the other attack you can do besides slashing is stabbing, which is a much quicker attack. It's a lighter attack, but it's a quicker attack. And stabbing is just the right top button, R1. But stabbing's a little bit different, and they don't tell you this in the game, in that there's only 2 places to stab, his body or his head. So any of the 4 body positions you click R1, it's just going to stab his body. If you are aiming at his head and click R1, it'll stab at his head. So you can only stab at body or head. It's as simple as that.
Good. Let's try something else. One strike I can fend off without a sweat. But if you chain your strikes, I'll have a much harder time. As soon as you land one blow, follow it with another.
Okay, so he wants me to chain my strikes. To practice this, I would say just use slashes, the right trigger attacks. They're slower, and you can get timing down a little bit better with those. But how I like to do it is when I hear my blade hit his, I follow up with another attack. in a different direction, preferably, just to keep him off balance. So that's how I try and do it. Heard it, heard it, heard it. See? So it's much quicker if you can chain your attacks together like that. See, and I mixed in a light attack right there. I did heavy attack, light attack, heavy attack. I'm going to try that again, although I'm going to do light, heavy, light this time. Light, heavy, light.
Again.
Oh, so he didn't let me do the last light one. But again, the timing's important in this game. You don't want to spam the button.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired and thirsty. Remember, though, train hard. No one becomes a master swordsman overnight. You have to work and work. And the main thing is to use what you've learned in real combat. There's nothing better than experience, believe me.
So, I mean, it's true. And he's only taught us the basics of combat. So if you think you can go in the wilderness now and take on 6 guys, you're sorely mistaken. Even one guy is going to be a challenge right now. You are a blacksmith's son, and you don't have a lot of experience in much. So that's the game wants you to struggle in the beginning. It wants you to suffer. It wants you to feel like you're not that good at much. So practice sword fighting, and as the game progresses, they'll give you better tips and tricks and tactics, and we'll get into all that. This is the tavern symbol. So this is the tavern, and you can usually tell a tavern because there are tables outside.
You can't be serious, Deutsch. Insulting our king.
What insult? I say only the truth. Sigismund has done only what he had to.
He had to abduct the king. He had to lure his cousin Prokop into a trap and imprison him. He had to invade with his army of Tatars and besiege Kuttenberg.
Why not? What is this?
We're getting into the politics already.
The empire is falling asunder in his hands. The German counts elected Ruprecht of the Palatinate as king because your Wenceslas would not go to their deeds even.
German counts. Traitors.
Now even the Pope
God be with you,
is
Henry.
opposed to your king.
I'm with you, Matthew.
So such lords as
What's going on here?
Rosenberg,
Deutsch is spouting shit.
What?
Just listen and you'll hear for yourself.
Someone has to bring order and reunite the empire.
What do I care about the Austrians? And nowadays, not even the devil himself can keep up with all the popes. Which is the rightful pope? The one in Rome or the one in Avignon?
Do not blaspheme, Alex.
It's true, though. Wenceslas is the king of Bohemia. Bohemian nobles are on his side. To hell with Rosenberg and his cabal. Sir Radzig is Wenceslas' commander-in-chief. He stayed loyal to the king. And if he heard you talking like this, he would have you whipped like a dog.
Your Diet will soon have nothing left to rule. Jobst had to sell Luxembourg to help your king. South Bohemia is with Sigismund
and don't forget about Kuttenberg, where Germans like you kissed Sigismund's feet to keep their heads.
Yes, but...
Goodman Deutsch, this is pointless. Let us talk of more pleasant things.
My words exactly.
Deutsch has gone too far. Wenceslas is our rightful king.
Deutsch is an idiot. But what can you do?
I might have an idea. Deutsch deserves to be taught a lesson. Doesn't he, Fritz?
Too right, Matthew. Should give him a proper hiding.
Are you mad? Do you want to end up in the pillory?
Don't listen to Fritz. I've got a better idea. Deutsch was talking such shit, it made me think of that huge parliament. You know, the one right next to his freshly whitewashed house.
You think we should redecorate for him? Count me in.
Well, I'd rather torch it, to be honest. But throwing some turds will do.
What do you say, Henry?
But I was going to get ale for father and a few other things. We're finishing Sir Radzig's sword.
Come on. Throwing a few handfuls of manure is not going to take all day.
And it's our duty to defend the honor of our king.
So, Hal, are you with us?
Hi. This is another great example. I've done this beginning section a few times. So I've helped them and not helped them. If you choose to not help them, they'll go and do this whole quest without you. They'll just go and do it. So I just think that's cool that the world exists whether you're going to come along for the ride or not. And this time we're going to do it. But we're going to ask for their help in return. And remember, I told you there was another way besides stealthing or going back and tattling on Kunesh to get the axe, hammer, and nails. And this is the other way.
All right, I'll do it. But then you have to give me a hand with something.
What do you need?
Kunesh owes money to father and doesn't want to pay. I tried talking to him, but he wouldn't listen. I need more than words to get coin out of him, and I can't handle it on my own.
No problem. We'll back you up. Just as soon as we're done plastering Deutsch's house.
I'll be happy to sort out that drunken oaf.
All right. Let's go while Deutsch is still sitting safely in the tavern.
See, so how cool is that? This other secret fourth option has sort of organically presented itself. I could still break in and lockpick that chest and get his axe, hammer, and nails that way. I could go and tell Father, and Father would probably just give me money for now, and we'll settle the score later with the guy. But this is another fourth option, so it just shows you how free you can go with the game as long as you're willing to do a little research and be a little inventive. And this game allows you to be creative. It allows you to sort of go, hey, what if I did this solution? And it'll go, yeah, you totally can do that solution. So we've arrived at the place that they want to throw poop at.
So are we doing this or not?
Wait. We have to check that the coast is clear.
Why? The Deutsch is in the tavern.
But maybe you noticed after all these years that he has a wife and a son.
And that's a problem?
Aye, it is. Henry, you go and lure her away somehow.
Why me?
Because you're the clever one.
Yeah.
I get stuck doing this. Okay. So, who's the Deutsch's wife? Well, this isn't a game that's going to just necessarily hold your hand every step of the way, although...
Greetings, Henry.
Oh, they added that. Okay, they are going to hold your hand every step of the way. No, they didn't have an indicator for Deutsch's wife when I played, but they've released... I'm telling you guys, I know there's a lot of reviews that this game is buggy, and trust me, there's a great amount of bugs in this game, for sure. But if you played an Elder Scrolls game or any open-world RPG, they all have a vast amount of bugs, and they have released 2 patches. Now, tomorrow, there will be 3 patches, all dealing with these bugs and smoothing out a lot of things, and they've done a terrific job at that. This game is not nearly as buggy as people think. So, okay, Deutsch's wife.
What do you want, lad?
I just went
Your
by
husband.
the tavern, and your husband was in there talking nonsense. I thought someone should take him home before he gets himself in trouble.
What sort of nonsense?
Well, he kept saying that Sigismund was right and King Wenceslas is a drunkard, that sort of thing. Some people took exception, so I thought...
God almighty, the fool. Next thing he'll start on about the popes.
He might have mentioned the popes too.
Thank you for telling me. I just hope I can catch him before he gets into another fight.
That's right. You run. Go get him. Okay. I think we're all set here, fellers.
What are you waiting for, soldier? Fire the trebuchet! For king and country!
For king and country, my ass. This is all good, clean, fun.
Nearly as good as having that traitor in the pillory. Nearly. Now that would be sweet.
That's for Sigismund!
Woohoo! Eat shit, Docious.
You bastards! What the fuck do you think you're doing?
That's gross.
Hey, Hans, can't you see? We're decorating your house for you.
It's like your old man was saying in the tavern about that traitor Sigismund. We're just doing what we have to do.
Horse hunt! I'll make those smiles off your faces!
Oh, I'd like to see you try. What are you doing here?
I have a friend who
Spizek?
reminds me exactly
Hanging out
of
with
Fritz.
this boxy Deutscher? Maybe you'd like to try out the latest German fashion.
Fucker! I'll make you pay for that.
All right, we're getting into a group brawl already on our first day on the job. So fighting in, like, hand-to-hand fighting is much the same as sword fighting. A little bit simpler. Just so you know, L1 is block, whether you're sword fighting or not. Ooh, look at that. Little knee. Just doing a bunch of... I'm doing a bunch of light attacks on him because they're fast and quick, and it's draining his stamina out, which is... That's the key. An opponent can't ever lose health unless they lose stamina. Once your stamina's depleted, that's when you lose health. Oh, the catch pole's coming. We gotta go. I'm gonna follow you, Matthias. Did they get out? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the key to combat, is making sure that you don't lose your stamina and making sure your enemy does. Because stamina is the key. As long as you have stamina, you will not lose health. But enemies are going to try and combo you to take down your whole stamina bar and then hit you with a big attack to drain a bunch of health. And then, like I said, L1 is block. You can hold it to block all the time, and you don't need to block in a specific direction. But you really want to time your blocks. You really want to watch your enemy, and when his elbow is raising up to strike you, that's when you want to click the L1 button to block. It's called a perfect block, and if you do it right, the enemy is left reeling from it. They'll get into more of those tactics later, but just so you know, the block button is L1. So we are escaping the catch pole now successfully. Just being a bunch of rowdy kids. Up to nose good. These guys know how to jog slowly. That's for sure. Yeah, excellent job at fixing the bugs. I have seen this game, this section with none of the patches applied to it, and it is amazing how many bugs there are just in this section alone before the patches. But man, have they improved the whole quality of the game by that. And this is on a PS4 Pro, so the graphics are a little bit better at rendering and a little bit smoother. All right.
Oof. He's gone. Fucking Deutsch.
That was close. I almost got caught thanks to that damn Deutsch.
Oh, you both are in each other's. So...
Listen, there's this locked chest I need to get into.
Really? An honest trade not good enough for you anymore?
It's just that someone has something that doesn't belong to him, and I want to take it back.
If you say so. It's not skin off my nose anyway. I've got some lockpicks you can have. But if you get caught, you didn't get them from me.
Never heard of you. Thanks, Fritz.
So I think you can get the lockpicks from Fritz whether you help these guys or not. I haven't confirmed that, though. You might not be able to get the lockpicks from Fritz until you help them. What I do know is as soon as you enter the tavern, that goes into the cutscene to help them throw manure at the house. So the earliest point you can get lockpicks from Fritz is right now. Even if you don't do the quest with them, they have to go do the quest, and then they have to come behind this house that's right behind Kunesh's place. There's Kunesh right there. So they have to come here even if you don't do the quest for them, and then you have to talk to Fritz to get the lockpicks. I can also talk to Matthew at this point and let them know that since I helped them, they should help me. and all three of them should come gang up on Kunesh and fist fight him, group fight him, until we get him to give up the hammer and nails. But I'm leaning a little bit more now that I've got the lockpicks towards just stealthing it and doing it that way. So we're going to do it that way instead of bothering him with a group fight. And since no one's around, he left his axe here. Yep, if you steal, make sure no one sees you. There are consequences for that. Just in case. Lockpicking in this game is difficult. It gets easier, but it's extremely difficult at the beginning. They're supposed to be making it easier very shortly in the next patch, tomorrow probably. I've gotten a little more used to doing this, but it's still very hard. Yeah. So you find the sweet spot with the right thumbstick, and then you move the whole lockpick with the left. But see, when you move it, the right sweet spot moves with it, so it's hard to do it correctly. Again, as he gets more talented, it gets much easier. But at the beginning of the game, he's not very talented at this. So they want you to struggle and suffer at trying to do it. Okay. Well, just used up all my lockpicks and was not able to get in one time. So we don't have a choice now. We have to ask for help some other way. So hey, Matthew, real quick.
Well, we sorted that Deutsch out.
That was pretty close, eh?
That old bastard didn't stand a chance.
True, but I'm worried that fucker Hans will snitch on us.
Well, let him.
Oh, I
Then
guess I
I'll
had
snitch
to...
on him.
I guess you have to talk to Matthew
we'll
anyway
put
to
it
check
to
in for that
a bit
objective.
of
That's a
dunk.
little weird, huh?
Good point. It's not as if anyone really likes the Deutsch.
So see, I can just say like, hey, nice job, cool, see you later. Or...
I need a hand with Kunesh.
Sure, mate. You helped us, so we'll help you.
See?
Let's
And
get
if you
to it
don't
then.
do the quest with them, that's not an option. So the only option if I had run out of lockpicks and I didn't help them would have been to go ask my dad for help. Oh, they just passed him.
Kunesh, get out here, you old goat. I've something to show you.
Well, in most cases, Kunesh would either be in his house or he'd be around here.
What the fuck are you here for? You want me to take a whip to you or call a catch pole? Just try it, you old drunk.
Now we're ganging up, see?
You know how this one ends. Enough! Enough! I give up. Take what you want. It's not much, but it's all I have. You understand?
Ha.
You serious?
So, now I got his key. And now you'll notice, see how the blue symbol is not up on the top of the screen next to the compass anymore. So now that he's given me the key, it's no longer forbidden for me to be in here. And you can see it says unlock. There we go. So we're going to take all. We got the hammer and the nails. Finally. So we're making a lot of progress. We have gotten the cross guard from the castle. We have finally gotten the hammer, axe, and nails from Kunesh. We have done our sword lesson. And we've even helped our buddies with a little side quest along the way. Now we're going to go buy our charcoal, and then we're going to go buy ale at the tavern. That should complete our first major quest.
My God, what happened to you? You look like you've been assaulted.
Hold on one second. I'm going to send dialogue real quick. So I must have just taken like a bruise or something like that. When you're dirty or when you've been in a fight, they say stuff like that. So they'll react to you and the world. I definitely am dirty. You can take baths in this game. It costs you money. You can take baths. If you don't have the money for that, there are all these little water troughs everywhere, these little buckets, huge buckets of water. You can go just sort of get the cheap man's wash there. It doesn't fully wash you, but it'll do. So charcoal. This is every buy and sell screen. So at the top you'll see buy, and then if I click right trigger, sell, and if I click right trigger again, this is your checkout basket. So to buy, we know what we want to buy. We want 10 charcoal. At the top of the screen, you'll see there's a red 5. You pay 5. Well, I don't have 5 groschen, so I got to sell some stuff. So we go to the sell screen. Let's go to the other tab just to make it easier. So Kunesh's axe will get me, if you want to see how much it'll get you, it's at the right side. 2.7, Kunesh's axe. So I'll definitely add that to the basket. Kunesh's hammer is 1.5. I'll add that to the basket. Kunesh's nails are 0.7. So I'll add that to the basket, but as you'll see, I still owe 0.1, which I don't have and can't pay. I could give some of, like an apple, or some cheese, or something like that. I could just sell to him. But instead, we're going to try a whole new concept that I'm going to introduce you to called haggling. So now you're at your checkout basket. This is what you're buying, 10 charcoal. This is what you're selling. You can close the deal here and just say, call it a day. But see, I still owe him 1 groschen, so we're not going to be able to just do that. So instead, I'm going to hold the square button instead of clicking it to haggle.
Let's have a word about the price.
Sure, why not?
Haggling increases your speech skill, so I recommend you haggle as much as possible. This is making it more difficult than it needs to be, so I'm going to just skip the tutorial. If you want to read it on your own, that's fine. But how much money you have in your purse is at the top of the screen on that purse symbol. And then basically it's as simple as you're the gold bar and he's the gray bar. So you want to pay less money for this. So you're offering 0 instead of the 0.1 that you owe. You can also haggle them further and say, can I pay you even less? Can I get 0.3 instead of 0.1? So I'm not going to push him too much right now. And we'll get more into haggling later when I've actually got some money and when we can actually like go and do stuff in both directions. Because you can also, if somebody doesn't like you, you can tip them. You can haggle in the other direction. So if I had money, I could say, well, I'll just give you more. But I don't. So I'm going to say, hey, can I just, instead of owing you 0.1 groschen, can I just owe you 0? But to do that, let's start with like saying, well, give me 0.2 actually.
What about this?
Will you give me 0.2?
We're getting there. Just drop the price.
So he's going to say, no, I don't want to give you 0.2. But see, his next offer is, how about I just give it to you for 0? So that's fine with me. That's what we wanted in the first place. So we'll get the charcoal, we'll give him the axe, hammer, and nails, and we'll call it a day. We'll get 0 groschen for it. Now, every time you haggle somebody, just so you know, you see at the bottom of the haggle screen his little face and like a little bar that's filling up. So you can't haggle people all day. They get less and less, they get more frustrated with you the more you haggle. So you don't want to irritate people too much. You want to haggle a little bit and then just call it a day.
I knew we'd come to an arrangement.
Okay. So we've got the charcoal now. Boom. We have everything we need, and we did it in the order we were supposed to do it. Because remember, we want to get the ale last, so it remains cold. We have to find Bianca, who could be outside serving people. No, here she is.
Got it for you right here.
God save, my lovely. You're looking well today.
You too, handsome. What brings you here?
Oh dear. You
Your
do.
beauty, of course.
Of course.
Oh, noble sir. I'm as honored as any simple maid can be. And apart from my beauty, what else might your worship desire?
You could stir up trouble.
I need ale for father.
A pitcher as usual?
Aye. Bring me a cool one from the cellar.
But of course.
Nice cool
Here you
one
are.
from the cellar.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's on me today. You can pay me back this evening.
Oh dear.
Don't worry, dearest. This evening I'll see you right.
Oh, how? I do hope so.
Well, that's
Thanks.
just X-rated.
You'll have something to look forward to this evening.
You too. Oh, by the way, that shifty-looking fellow was asking after you.
Vanya?
I suppose. He's a man who makes his coin robbing honest wayfarers. I'm sure of it. I'll be happy when he's gone for good. But what in heaven's name are you up to with him?
He promised to teach me how to use a sword.
What use would that be to you?
Enough. You sound just like father. I'll be going now. See you this evening.
How? I've got something special for you.
Is that so? Now what would that be?
Your favorite, Savior Schnapps.
Really? You're an angel.
Save your schnaps.
I hope you'll thank me properly later.
You bet I will.
Okay. So we got ale, but we also got something called Save Your Schnapps. So Save Your Schnapps is very important in this game. There's a few ways to save your game. With the patch coming out tomorrow, you'll be able to save on quit. So every time you quit the game, you'll be able to save. You will also be able to save by sleeping. Every time you sleep, even if it's just an hour nap, it'll save. The only other way to save the game, however, is by a Save Your Schnapps. See, if I click Save Game right now, you'll see at the bottom of the bottom right of the screen, it'll say, this will cost you 1 Save Your Schnapps. So, Save Your Schnapps is an alcoholic drink that you can buy in a lot of different taverns and shops and places like that, but you don't have unlimited amounts of them. You have to buy them. And the other thing to know about Save Your Schnapps is it's an alcoholic drink. You can become an alcoholic in this game. So this prevents you from saving every 2 seconds, every 2 steps to make sure that you never have any consequences, because you can't keep drinking. If you become an alcoholic, then you become dependent on alcohol, which is a whole nother deal that we won't get into today. But anyway, that's what Save Your Schnapps is. It's really a way for you to save your game, and it literally is an alcoholic drink. I know this is a lot of information to process, so we're going to go turn this quest in and then watch the cutscene, and then we'll call it a day, and we're going to pick back up on the next episode with getting Teresa the nails and finishing the sword and things like that. About the things you wanted.
About time. Have you got everything I wanted?
I have charcoal, the hilt, and the ale. We can start.
Good job. Let's have it then, son. Well done.
All right. This is such a great cutscene.
Let's see what kind of job the master in Sasau did for us. Look at that, lad. Well, that's what I call craftsmanship.
What does the inscription mean?
Damned if I know. Doesn't look like Czech to me. Latin, maybe? Lord Radzig ordered it. Oh, this will be the finest sword I've ever made. Have you got the charcoal? Good. We'll fire up the forge. We'll put it all together. By the way, someone paid me a call. I reckon you might know what it was about.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure you and your friends threw dung at Deutsch's freshly whitewashed house. He was here with the catchpole earlier, and it was not a friendly visit. What got into you, Hal?
That Deutsch was talking treason in the tavern about Sigismund and the king. He got what he deserved.
Got what he deserved, did he? You can go and clean up the mess you made and apologize to him. I have a trade to run. The German pays well, and having my son in the pillory helps nothing and nobody, least of all the king. You understand?
Yes.
Look me in the eye, Henry. Do you understand?
I understand.
Good. And we'll never have this conversation again.
So you think it's right to let traitors speak ill of our king?
The boy gets caught, making a fool of himself, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. So Deutsch spouts rubbish, and what? You turn into a common thug. You might win a fight with violence, but you'll never win an argument. Remember, Henry, if you want to convince someone that they're wrong, try using your mouth and not your fists.
Furnace is ready.
Right, we'll do the grip. I'll heat it up, and when I take it out, you slip the grip on so it fits exactly. You know what you're doing. Do it. Good. Once more. That's it. Done. Now file it down so it sits well in the hand. I'll prepare the guard.
Father, why did you leave Prague? Who ever heard of a master swordsmith making horseshoes in a village?
I had my reasons, Hal. And here I have your mother and you. Why would I want any other life?
Do you remember Emperor Charles?
I do. Life was good under his reign.
Better than now.
He built half of Prague, and a score of castles, had a bridge made over the Moldau, and founded a university, and all without a war. He knew how to rule.
Better than Wenceslas.
Better by far. But Wenceslas doesn't have it easy. It's hard to step into the shoes of someone whose like is born only once 1,000 years.
What about Sigismund?
Do you think Charles would have brought an army down on his own people like Sigismund? No. Wenceslas may not be the equal of his father, but Sigismund, he brings shame to the royal name. How's it going? Give it here, and we'll put it all together.
It's so cool how they show you the whole making of the sword. Pretty good.
It's magnificent.
Indeed it is. The Lord be with you. My father sent me for those nails.
Good day to you, Teresa. They're ready. Will you fetch them for me, Hal? They're in the trunk in the living room.
Henry, are you all right?
All right, so I'm gonna go get her nails, and we're gonna continue this next time because this has been a lot of info.
Henry, are you all right?
If you were just starting out, I hope it helped. There's definitely a lot of things they don't tell you at the start of this game, and it can be really overwhelming. It's quite an incredible game, but I will admit I was very overwhelmed getting into it, and found some stuff quite a struggle. So we'll keep going. We'll get into different stuff. If you like the tips and hints, then that's great. If you just want the playthrough and all of that, then this might be a little long-winded for you at times, but we'll get going next time, and we will finish this up. Thanks very much.